Hello guys, welcome back to our anime explainer. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of upcoming episode of Perfect World based on novel. So let's start. Shahao and the Celestial Clan's grudges truly ran deep. He had previously suffered a great humiliation here, the other party biting the hand that fed them. He was almost killed in the Black Prison, a memory that was hard to forget. In the past, he had previously told this clan that he would return one day to settle this grudge. So this is the Celestial Clan's place of residence. It is so grand and majestic. Hualinga said. Up ahead, the mountain range rose and fell as if true dragons were resting below. It was grand and vast, waves of purple mists rising. There were a few smoke clouds, as well, that were all produced from spiritual essence. Needless to say, this was a spiritual earth rarely seen between heaven and earth. Moreover, this couldn't be considered the Celestial Clan's important area. Beyond the mountain range were plains with enormous cities one after another, large amounts of Celestials residing within them. It was clear that this was their country. Meanwhile, Celestial Clan had another ancestral land where it was extremely difficult for normal people to enter. They needed to travel through an ancient transport formation. Since Shahao dared to come, he naturally made sufficient preparations. He had realm-shattering symbols, and even more so the golden divine talisman Immortal Ancients' 9 great sect masters specially refined for him, one that could allow him to move through many great formations. Along the way, they passed the residences of the normal Celestials, directly entering their ancestral land. There's a great mountain ceiling formation, you have to be careful. Hualinga worried for Shahao, fearing that he might be careless from being hung up on revenge. After all, Celestial Clan was a past Emperor clan, their methods too deep. Even without extremely powerful experts overseeing this place, it still wasn't a place ordinary people could rashly enter. Stop sleeping and wake up already. Shahao woke up the Divine Striking Stone. During these past few years, the Divine Striking Stone obtained tremendous benefits, obtaining Origin Stone, Heaven's Mandate Stone, and then he even obtained another wondrous stone from the ancient phoenix nest in Immortal Ancients' medicine garden, all of it eaten. It really was as it said, simply about to cultivate immortal energy. Spiritual mists surged around its body, rising into the air, it was extremely divine. In the recent half-year, it ate all types of supreme treasures and refined them, turning them into a part of itself, continuously transforming. Its aura was now extraordinary. During this process, it would always be fast asleep. If it wasn't woken up, it would pass its time in a daze. The main reason was because it had eaten too many heavenly treasures, especially those supreme treasures, all of them directly wolfed down and not truly refined. Only recently did it truly absorb the essence. That was why it was in a type of wonderful state. Trip down memory lane. When the Divine Striking Stone woke up, it laughed towards Shahao, also feeling quite moved. Only, back then, Shahao was captured here. He escorted Yunshi several tens of thousands of li, fought continuously with War Clan, and because of it continuously suffered attacks, barely making it out alive. What he received in return wasn't gratitude, but rather humiliation. The Celestial Clan demanded his precious techniques, treated him like a prisoner. This time, it's different. Shahao said, his mind stirring with emotions. Today, he took the initiative to slaughter his way over. Not even he foresaw this. In just a few years, he was actually able to reach this step. Yi, little girl, you've grown prettier. It's been several years, have you missed me? The Divine Striking Stone then looked towards Hualinga. In the end, it was struck by Shahao as soon as it spoke, making its body release King Cheong sounds, sparks flying everywhere. Rat, did you need to go that far? Forgetting your bro after getting a girl, you really don't have any sense of loyalty. The Divine Striking Stone shouted. Hualinga also gave it a slap. Now that she had the cultivation of heavenly deity level, she immediately beat the Divine Sterling Stone until it cried out miserably, grimacing in pain. You two really are quite the match, huh? Did you forget an old friend like me? Back then, when we met in the 100 Shattered Mountains, we could also be said to have an old friendship. Even if you speak a bit less, no one will think you're mute. Shahao said. This fella dared to say anything, he truly feared that it would shoot its mouth more. Ayo, the Divine Striking Stone released a howl like a wolf, saying, I, the number 1 stone under the heavens, have returned. Celestial Clan, you bastards can start trembling now. Wash your butts, and just wait for your turn. Shahao and Hulinga's foreheads were filled with dark lines. This fella always spoke utter nonsense, not knowing what is appropriate for what situation. However, right now, they needed its understanding of formations. Even though they had the realm-shattering symbol, it was still best to have a formation master at their side to lead the way. This place was known as Celestial Clan's restricted place, everything within a range of 100,000 li surrounded by an ancient formation. Normal people couldn't enter at all. However, with the divine striking stone leading the way, as well as the golden realm-shattering symbol the 9 great sect masters refined, they made it through more scared than hurt, smoothly crossing this place, entering inside. Ancient trees towered into the skies, golden giant elephants, rainbow-colored lawns, everything that should be there was there. Not only was this the Celestial Clan's hunting field, it also served as their medicinal garden. This place covered 100,000 li, valuable resources endless, the clan's most flourishing area. After arriving in this place, Shahao naturally wouldn't be polite. He set the Emperor Butterfly as well as Divine Striking Stone free, bringing Hulinga with him as they picked all types of precious medicines. In just the larger half of a day, many places became empty, spiritual grasses all plucked clean. Hulinga felt a strange sensation. Harvesting divine grass with Shahao like this felt like they were doing something wrong, yet it was a strange type of stimulating. She was the daughter of a clan's emperor, when did she ever do something like this? It was a completely different experience. We can be considered great robbers now, right? We are robbing the rich to help the poor, it's a chivalrous thing. Shahao spoke righteously, correcting her. Something is wrong, what is happening? We lost many wondrous medicines, someone is stealing medicines. There were experts protecting this place. They quickly discovered the abnormalities, shouting loudly and raising alarm. This triggered a great disturbance. Who dared behave atrociously in Celestial Clan's important location? This was truly vermin, leaving them shocked and furious. Shahao raised his head towards the sky. In the boundless heavens, the clouds above, there was an ancient giant city protected by a great formation. It was like a city of immortals. That was precisely the city of heaven, Celestial Clan's most important place. All of the higher level and most powerful individuals resided here, high up above, overlooking this expanse of great earth. Are we going to break in from below? The divine striking stone was eager to give things a try. Even though Shahao didn't bring up the matters back then, the divine striking stone also felt stirred up. There was clearly kindness shown, fighting a bloody battle for several hundreds of thousands of li, yet he received such unjust treatment, making even the divine striking stone gnash its teeth in anger, wishing to immediately break into the city of heaven. We'll just wait right here. If one comes, then we'll deal with one. Shahao said. He wasn't willing to rashly take risks. Even though he felt tremendous resentment and indignation, that city was extremely important, something the archaic 6 great celestials established. Even though he had great treasures and his strength was also powerful, able to kill heavenly deities, rashly entering the city would still likely leave him in an unfavorable position, ultimately be trapped and killed by the Celestial Clan's great formation. Which little thief dares behave atrociously in my Celestial Clan's restricted land, daring to steal medicinal herbs? Tired of living? A great shout sounded from the skies above. A group of true deities appeared, searching through this place to find that person. Moreover, the person in the lead even more so held a bone mirror, illuminating all directions. Its effects weren't as great as the heavenly eye, but it could find many hidden people, one of Celestial Clan's ancient treasures. Stupid thief, I really don't know where you got such great courage, actually sneaking into my clan's ancestral land, not knowing the difference between life and death. In this group, a young true deity sneered, because it discovered clues of the medicine stealer with the bone mirror, leading a group of people and rushing over. While shouting stupid thief, the secret treasure in its hands released a loud blast of lightning, directly taking action and attacking. That bastard, daring to call us stupid thieves, is he tired of living? The divine striking stone was furious. During these past few years, it followed by Shahao's side, could be said to be comrades in arms. They had seen too many great scenes, bathed in the blood of heavenly deities as they advanced. How could they fear a trifling true deity? Shahao brought Hulinga here, allowing the lightning to hack down. It was completely useless, because all of the lightning was like spiritual essence, absorbed by his paws. That person was shocked, hurriedly stopping his figure. Moreover, he saw Shahao's true appearance, immediately becoming stupefied, and then his face became deathly pale, losing all color. He hurriedly rushed over for the sake of getting achievements. When he shone with the bone mirror, he didn't pay close attention at all, only now realizing who was it that came. What's wrong? The relatively young experts, who rushed over afterwards, asked. However, when they arrived and saw Shahao, they were similarly shocked. How could it be this killing disaster? These people all staggered, almost falling from the sky, truly frightened badly. In this celestial clan important land, how many people were there who didn't recognize Shahao? One had to bear in mind that the clan's most powerful 6 geniuses were all defeated, including the number 1 in the younger generation Yu. Even after merging with the Heaven's Mandate Stone, he was still beaten until he was half crippled before supreme being downright. How could you dare come to my celestial clan? Someone shouted, clearly trying to show strength while feeling weak inside. Naturally, to settle things. Back then, you all did all those immoral things. Today, I came to demand an explanation. Shahao said. He raised his hand towards the void, and then his finger shone. Several divine rainbows shot out, piercing through the void. Ah! Those people cried out loudly, no way of resisting at all. They were struck at nearly the same moment, blood blossoming as they fell from the sky, landing on the ground. Even though they didn't die, they were clearly already half crippled. If I killed them all, I'll look ruthless and bloodthirsty, but how can I not kill them? Have all your heavenly deities just come out and accept death? Shahao muttered. Hualinga gripped his hands, telling him not to act too heavily on emotions. Huh? Who are you? The other deities in the sky saw this scene, and then all of them were incredibly alarmed. Heavens, his Huang, Shahao, who came first in immortal ancient remains. He came here to get revenge. Finally, someone recognized Shahao, immediately crying out in alarm, triggering a huge commotion. Huang's name had long shaken up the 3,000 provinces. Now, every sect had heard about the great might he displayed in immortal ancient remains. During these past 2 weeks, who didn't know about Huang? His name could be said to have shaken up the world under heaven, his name spread everywhere. During these past few days, the celestial clan was in unrest. The Tao Protector came back in a dying state, while the youth from the past had already grown up to the point where no one under heaven didn't know about him, truly casting a shadow over their hearts. They long had a premonition that Huang would come knocking on their doors one day. However, they just never expected that this day would come so fast. In the sky, above the city walls, a purple-clothed young lady was originally watching the setting sun, but in the end, she was startled by the activity below. She looked downwards, carefully observing what was going on. It's him. She was shocked, her emotions rising and falling, feeling an indescribable type of feeling and emotion. Soon after, she then saw the tall and slender young lady in fiery red clothes next to Shahao. She stood on the city walls, watching as Shahao arrived. All types of feelings welled up in her heart. She never expected this day would come so quickly. She had previously entered immortal ancient remains, knowing how extraordinary Huang was. He cultivated 3 strands of immortal energy, forcefully suppressing enemies of all sides, his reputation outstanding. This was especially true when Shahao broke out from immortal ancients' encirclement, even more so causing Willow deity and the undying existence to fight a great battle against everyone, stirring up huge waves. That young lady is Fire Clan's princess. She recognized Hualinga, because they had met each other in the lower realm, remembering her appearance. She stared blankly at those two, never expecting them to actually move together, slaughtering their way over to Celestial Clan's ancestral land. A complicated expression appeared on Yunshi's face. Hurry and give a report, Huang has come. There was another group of people outside the city, the ones in the lead, all true deities, expressions changing greatly. They wanted to send the message, issue a warning to City of Heaven. However, Shahao already took action, reaching out his right hand, grabbing towards the air. In that instant, crazy winds swept out, stellar light flowing in reverse, lightning interweaving, unexpectedly displaying all types of irregular scenes. Shahao's large hand covered half the sky, cutting off their path of retreat, crushing down on their heads. These people activated secret treasures and other things, but they all shattered in the void. It was like swatting flies, as Shahao brandished his fist. The precious artifacts and things were destroyed one after another, and then these people were like fried pot stickers, releasing pilla-pala sounds as they all fell down from the sky. Soon after, this place became quiet, because those people were all slapped down, seriously injured and dying, already half crippled. What's wrong? Why is there such a disturbance? There were people in the city that noticed something was wrong outside. There's an enemy attack, violating my celestial clan's important land. Hurry and find out what is going on. Someone shouted. Below, Shahao seized that bone mirror, handing it to Huolinga and saying, "This thing has some uses, can use it in place of heavenly eyes, an ancient treasure." Just now, those true deities used precisely this secret treasure to seek out enemies, but it was now seized. The city of heaven could not calm down. There was a heavenly deity that came, not knowing that it was Shahao who rushed over and paid their clan a visit. He looked down, searching for his target. Regardless of who it was, approaching Celestial Clan's ancestral land was extremely disrespectful to the clan, let alone forcefully taking action. Who is it that dares to hide? You better drag yourself here. That heavenly deity shouted. In addition, he brought a group of people out from the city, descending below. Old ancestor, be careful. Someone cried out loudly. Shahao's eyes widened. This heavenly deity didn't come out hastily, but rather came while treading on a golden path released by the city gate, making him look even more heroic. Mo Luo. Shahao's eyes became ice cold, immediately recognizing this heavenly deity. He had previously chased after him in Fire Province's grasslands, and he even more so appeared outside Supreme being downright to kill him. However, Mo Luo was stopped by Qi Daolin back then, slapped back with a single palm, his flesh almost completely exploding, only his primordial spirit fleeing. Back then, Qi Daolin could have killed him, but he left him with his life, saying that he was leaving him for his disciple. When Shahao was powerful enough, he could then go and kill this person. Shahao's impression of this person was quite deep. This person used his heavenly deity body to kill him, shaking up mountains and rivers, making an entire mountain range collapse. For the him back then, he was far above, impossible to defy. When recalling those things, he felt as if everything took place just yesterday. Shahao naturally had a deep impression of this person, a heavenly deity, who had displayed extremely severe killing intent towards him. Now, he came at just the right time to settle things. This city of heaven isn't simple. Look, the golden light the city gates released can protect Mo Luo. Normal people can't break through it at all. The divine striking stone said. You all, don't move. I'm going to kill him. Shahao said. He produced a scale that was a foot long, and was releasing powerful draconic energy, glistening and dazzling. It was precisely the defying dragon scale. Shahao's body swayed, appearing before the city of heaven. What? It's you. Mo Luo finally saw who the intruder was, his face immediately changing. He never expected that it was actually Huang, that youth from back then. He looked down on Shahao deep down, because back then, that youth was easily crushed, killing him as easy as a turn of his hand. If it were not for Qi Daolin's assistance, he would have killed Shahao with a single finger, as easy as blowing off dust. However, he heard rumors from Immortal Ancient that this youth rose up, advancing greatly, able to slaughter heavenly deities now. That was why he felt conflicting emotions, unable to accept this reality. Little evil, you dare come to my celestial clan, did you not learn your lesson back then? Mo Luo spoke. When Shahao heard this, his face fell. Back then, he was captured and brought over, how could he have come willingly? He was filled with humiliation. The other person actually brought back past events, carrying contempt. Celestial clan, you all really are shameless. In the past, I was captured and brought here, but today, I came here on my own to demand an explanation. The great massacre will start with you. Shahao shouted. With things already reaching this extent, regardless of what kind of rumors there were in the outside world, Mo Luo couldn't be bothered with so much. Ridicule appeared on his lips, saying, if not for Qi Daolin appearing in the past, my hand would slap a group of people like you to death like houseflies. You were a heavenly deity back then, while I was but a supreme expert, yet you have the shame to flaunt, do you have no sense of shame? Shahao said. His palm slapped out, symbols surging. The Kuan Peng void figure appeared, attacking outwards to kill Mo Luo. With a wung sound, that great golden passage shone, becoming increasingly resplendent, unexpectedly surrounding Mo Luo to protect him within. This was the power of the city of heaven. Large amounts of auspicious multicolored light surged from the city gates, supporting Mo Luo's body, protecting him within. Break! Shahao shouted loudly, activating the defying dragon scale in his hands. This thing was extremely mysterious, he was unable to figure it out even after studying it for a long time. However, he knew that its power was unordinary. At this moment, he directly used it like a weapon, intercepting the Great Golden Passage. Draconic energy flooded outwards, cries echoing out. This scale smashed into the Great Golden Passage, and after it received the auspicious multicolored light's attack, it immediately flourished with radiance, cutting this place off. The void exploded. Not good. Mo Luo cried out. He lost connection with the golden light, unable to obtain City of Heaven's protection anymore, falling out. He was now truly exposed. Shahao's speed was just too fast. He grabbed the defying dragon scale, putting it away, and then quickly rushed over to attack Mo Luo. He wasn't a heavenly deity, yet he dared to take such great action, suppress an expert that had been at the heavenly deity level for many years. Young generation, you dare. Mo Luo was alarmed and angry. Back then, he could crush this youth to death with a raise of his hand, yet now, he grew to this step, about to arrive and kill him. Right now, his mind was extremely conflicted. Together with the rumors he heard back then, this person continuously killing heavenly deities, his expression became even more unpleasant. He spared no effort in taking action. A great web flew out, flickering like a starry sky. This was a precious artifact Mo Luo newly refined from heaven and earth's stellar sand. When the net descended, it could collect mountains, rivers, and all living things. However, right now, this web lost effectiveness. When it descended towards Shahao, his entire body became covered in lightning. He used the Lightning Emperor's precious technique, releasing all of its power towards the great web. The stellar sand completely exploded, the net becoming tattered and scorched black, completely smashed to pieces. Shahao brought heaven overflowing lightning with him, as if he was the reincarnation of a lightning immortal as he rushed over. His fist smashed outwards, causing lightning radiance to overflow, endless stars all appearing. Mo Luo used his precious technique to resist him. However, it was completely useless. He was blasted flying from just the first strike. Shahao's fist was incomparably terrifying, carrying great stars one after another as they rolled over, the energy devouring mountains and rivers, descending with unstoppable momentum. No. Mo Luo cried out, feeling extremely unresigned. This was just a younger generation, and it had only been a few years since they last met, yet he already became this powerful. He couldn't stop him at all. He continuously displayed secret methods, all types of precious techniques activated, displaying expanse after expanse of brilliance to stop Shahao's fist. However, that fist approached, the great stars becoming more and more terrifying, as if the entire universe was descending. In reality, they were all formed from lightning radiance. At this moment, all of these great stars exploded, turning into lightning. In that instant, Mo Luo cried out miserably, his entire body in tatters, charred black by lightning. Even his bones were visible. Stop! He shouted, wishing to run. However, Shahao's gaze was cold, not wasting any words with him. He rushed over, palm blade hacking down. With a pu-kai sound, his head was removed. Mo Luo's primordial spirit wanted to escape, but in the end, Shahao pointed out, making this primordial spirit explode, completely die. Everyone who watched on City of Heaven's walls were shocked, erupting into commotion. That was but a heavenly deity. However, he was killed so easily. This made many of them shiver from fear. The one who came was just too strong. It's Huang, the youth from back then. He came for revenge. How could this be? It has only been a few years. He became this powerful after coming out from Immortal Ancient. Finally, everyone in City of Heaven above knew that Huang came. The youth who was locked in the black prison, and almost tormented to death, came knocking on their door. The entire city was moved, everyone ascending onto the city walls to look below. Thus, everyone became certain that he was the youth from back then. He came back, but his strength was already entirely different. Celestial Clan, I've returned to fulfill my promise. All of the heavenly deities, Tao Protector, just drag your asses out here. Shahao challenged. At this moment, Hualinga also rushed into the sky, standing at his side, her fiery red dress fluttering about, making her look incredibly moving. On the walls above, Yunxi was watching those two, feeling as if she was looking at a pair of Daoist immortals. Her expression was complicated, opening her mouth several times to say something, but was ultimately only left with bitterness. Back then, Celestial Clan acted against Shahao, the grudges between them too deep. It was useless no matter what Yunxi said now. Her heart was in pain. For the sake of rescuing her back then, Shahao traveled with her over hundreds of thousands of li, fighting intensely the whole time, yet in the end, he was repaid with slander and humiliation. Now, the other young lady was still Shahao's companion, also coming from the lower realm like Yunxi, but they were completely different. Those two were now extremely intimate. Even some of the celestial clan's higher level was filled with regret now. If they hadn't pushed around that youth back then, scheming after his precious techniques, how could it have ended like this? Now, everyone under the sky knew that Huang cultivated 3 strands of immortal energy, shocking past and present, unmatched among his peers, no one able to be his opponent. It could be said that the road ahead of him was brilliant. One didn't have to think too much to know that he would definitely become one of the 3,000 provinces' rulers. A person like this ended up becoming a mortal enemy of the celestial clan. Now that they thought about it like this, some people felt extremely upset, to the extent where they wanted to vomit blood. One had to understand that youth traveled together with Yunxi, their relationship extremely close. If not for their forceful actions, bullying and humiliating him, how would things have developed like this? If they treated him with enough respect back then, it might be a completely different situation. Perhaps the young lady standing at Huang's side would be Yunxi, and not the moving young lady in the fiery red dress. Some of the celestial clan's higher level figures felt regret, feeling that it was too pitiful. This youth might have very well been their celestial clan's most powerful ally, yet now, they were completely standing in opposition. In reality, the various events of the past had long spread throughout the outside world, many great inheritances laughing at them, at how they pushed the exceptional figure of a generation to the other side. Hateful. Someone clenched his fists, couldn't help but cry out. What were they supposed to do now? There was no way they could change things. Celestial clan, where are you heavenly deities and Tao protectors? All of you, drag your asses out and accept death. Shahao plugged up the city outside the walls, challenging with a loud voice, stopping the entire clan by himself. Celestial clan's higher level figures were extremely frustrated, and at the same time resentful. They missed out on a genius who cultivated 3 strands of immortal energy, now already too late for regrets. This was a rarely seen genius since ancient times, impossible to find another even if they scoured the entire 3,000 provinces. However, they were still unwilling to let it go, feeling rage inside. After all, the Shahao back then was only a supreme expert, someone they could play around with in their hands. If it wasn't because of something unforeseen, he would have long been killed by them. Back then, any random true deity could have killed Shahao. As for the higher level figures, a single finger was enough, to the extent where a loud enough roar could make him explode on the spot. Now, the difference was too great. They almost couldn't accept this. Hello. Is anyone coming out to fight? Shahao spoke, his voice ringing through City of Heaven's skies. What kind of place was this? It was the ancestral land of a former emperor clan. Even though it had already declined, it still wasn't a place that could be easily looked down upon. However now, a young man dared to trap them in their city walls, challenging from outside. Celestial clan's higher level figures' expressions fell, all of their eyes extremely cold. It was because they knew that no matter what the results were today, Celestial clan's popularity in the higher realms was going to fall, dropping a level. A 20-or-so-year-old youth plugged up their ancestral land, rashly challenging them. This in itself spoke of too many problems. Perhaps many people will believe that the Celestial clan really has completely declined. Otherwise, how could it be like this? This was a sign that a clan was weakening. Even if they killed Shahao, it would still be extremely difficult for them to redeem their reputation. Moreover, they didn't have any confidence in killing Huang. His battle accomplishments have long been spread out. How could normal heavenly deities be his opponent? Hateful. Celestial clan was furious. This type of result was extremely terrible. In reality, Shahao didn't need to do anything, no need to fight a bloody battle. As long as he remained here for half a day, he would deliver a great blow to the Celestial clan's prestige. This was clearly not something a clan could accept. We have to kill him, moreover in the shortest amount of time possible. Otherwise, once news gets out, it will make our Celestial clan look incredibly weak, drawing the eyes of many starving wolves. Someone said coldly. However, his proposal was quickly met with the questioning of others. Don't forget that this youth has a supreme willow fiend behind him. How many people in the 3,000 provinces can match it? If we kill him, it will be the same as bringing a huge disaster onto our clan. When Willow deity was mentioned, a shadow loomed over every single individual's minds. The events that transpired that day spoke for itself. Willow deity fought a great battle against experts from all different clans, powerfully killing a few sect masters, shaking up the higher realms. How many people dared to rashly provoke that kind of existence? His even bullying and humiliating us to this extent, could it be that we can't retaliate? Even if we can't kill him, we still have to suppress him. I believe that Willow Fiend won't make a big fuss over this. If we have to, we'll release him after it pays us a visit. Someone spoke like this, feeling incomparably sullen. There used to be an emperor clan whose might intimidated the world, yet they were actually now threatened like this, truly a type of humiliation. There were those who felt extremely regretful. If they didn't deal with Huang like that back then, how could things have developed like this? Moreover, if they set up a proper relationship with him in the past, even Willow Deity, the Undying Existence and others would be standing together with Celestial Clan, forming a terrifying alliance. One of them looked towards Yunxi, opening his mouth, hoping that she could make an appearance. It was because they had long seen that if not for their obstruction, something might have happened between these two back then. It was to the extent where some speculated if they didn't interfere, he might have become the Celestial Clan's son-in-law. Only, it was too late to say anything now, just hoping that Yunxi could appear and stop Shahao. Yunxi's beautiful brows frowned slightly, her sparkling white face carrying disappointment and sadness as she looked at her clansman. She released a sigh. If not for the clan's elders' aggressiveness, coveting the precious techniques of others, returning kindness with hostility, how could things have become like this? The Celestial Clan had a hardline faction, saying, there's not much to be said. Right now, we definitely can't compromise with that brat. Just forcefully suppress him and leave him with his life. This is the only way. Correct, if we display weakness, how will the outside world view us? It will become even more disadvantageous for our Celestial Clan. He took the initiative to attack us, so even if we can't capture him, I believe that the Willow Fiend, with its status, wouldn't randomly unleash slaughter. Someone said in agreement. All right, activate the formation and suppress him. After the higher level figures discussion, they came to this type of decision. Immediately afterwards, the city of heaven shone, as if an enormous sun shone in the sky. Bone texts covered the skies layer after layer, illuminating everything. The city of heaven unexpectedly moved, flying, turning into an enormous precious artifact that smashed towards Shahao. Endless symbols could be seen, flooding outwards like great ocean waves. Shahao was shocked, moving quickly to escape into the distance. This type of magical artifact was too frightening. It released overflowing heavenly deity might, normal heavenly deities having their body torn apart and bones crushed upon making contact, dying in an instant. It was because this wasn't a normal type of magical artifact, but rather an ancient city the archaic six great celestials discovered and then repeatedly refined with countless heavenly treasures. It could be said that this was a clan's supreme treasure. Even though it wasn't ranked in the higher realm's top 10 weapons, it definitely wasn't far, exceptionally terrifying. Shahao brought Hualinga with him, continuously moving about through the skies to avoid the archaic six great celestials' magical artifact. They couldn't face it head-on. Little evil, you are too arrogant. Just someone who stepped into holy sacrifice realm without true unmatched might, yet you dare behave wildly in my celestial clan, hand over your life. Someone shouted in City of Heaven with a tone that carried satisfaction and coldness. Just now, one of their heavenly deities fell, and everyone was plugged up within the city. This truly was a type of humiliation, leaving them extremely sullen. Attacking like this made them release a breath of pent-up air. Kill him, kill this young generation. Violating my celestial clan, must be put to death. There were people crying loudly, stirring up noise. The entire celestial clan's mood was stirred up, a few hot-blooded youngsters even more so demanding for Shahao's immediate death, not fearing anything. Hualinga was quite worried, feeling that Shahao was too rash. This was a former emperor clan, after all. Even though it declined, it still had unimaginable methods. Now that they attacked with City of Heaven like this, they were in a dangerous situation, only able to run. However, she didn't panic, her delicate hands tightly clenched Shahao's hands, wishing to advance and retreat together with him. Don't worry, since I dared to come here, that means I'm not scared of them. Shahao said, having her relax and not worry. Immediately afterwards, he produced the 10,000 spirit diagram, holding it in front of him to resist the City of Heaven. The enormous city crushed down, leaving behind large amounts of shadows in the ground below. However, the skies above were shining brilliantly, the bone texts surging over like ocean waves. Right at that instant, the 10,000 spirit diagram displayed light shining in a dazzling manner, becoming completely sparkling and translucent. Figures appeared from within one after another, all of them the 10,000 spirits from the very beginning. All types of ancient beasts and divine birds appeared, everything that should be there was there. There were even more powerful plant-type creatures that crushed the void, making this place surge, shaking the skies. The 10,000 spirit diagram shone, stopping the city of heaven. It was just like before. It couldn't actively attack, only able to defend. The city of heaven tumbled down, continuously smashing about. However, all of the bone texts were stopped, the tremendous impact completely neutralized, unable to harm the male and female pair. Everyone in the celestial clan was shocked. This was the supreme treasure of a clan, an invincible weapon, yet it couldn't do anything to that youth. It truly left them shocked. There were even some who felt a wave of chilliness inside. This result was too terrible. Those who were previously still noisy and shouting now all became silent, their hearts full of bitterness and frustration. They felt an enormous feeling of inferiority. Why is it like this? Why can't we kill him? Just how many years has it been, yet he already grew to this extent? If we give him more time, won't my celestial clan be completely destroyed? The faces of some of them distorted, shouting themselves hoarse. They clenched their fists tightly, feeling a type of fear from deep within. No, we have to eliminate him. Someone shouted. Once this battle accomplishment leaked out, the entire world wouldn't remain silent, definitely raising a great commotion. All sects would look down on the celestial clan. However, no matter how they activated the city of heaven, they still couldn't shatter the 10,000 spirit diagram. It was stopped, unable to approach. They tried again and again, yet the city of heaven couldn't do anything to that sparkling white bone, stopped by a soft force below. The faces of celestial clans' higher levels fell, all of them feeling that things were extremely bad. Even though we haven't been defeated, this will affect my clan's prosperity and decline. If news gets out, how will the outside world see us? Do you all have any methods to capture him? In the end, everyone became silent. The old Celestial left to comply with the archaic contract of alliance, while the Tao Protector didn't have much life left, already heavily injured and dying. Right now, not one could stop Shahao. Continuously smashing down and activating City of Heaven resulted in tremendous consumption. All types of heavenly treasures would become damaged. If this continued for a long time, the clan wouldn't be able to endure the costs. Forget it, have Yunshi go and chat with him, ask him what we have to do to have him withdraw. One of them said with a sigh, filled with a sense of frustration. Another heavenly deity's face became even more ashen, fiercely smashing the small side table and others to pieces, incredibly resentful, but could only agree. Yunshi was summoned. After receiving the order, City of Heaven was opened, a gap appearing to send her out. The City of Heaven shifted backwards, the symbols disappearing, returning to normal. The city walls were filled with people, all of them paying close attention. Yunshi released a soft sigh. This really was a task that left her embarrassed and bitter. How could things have reached this extent? Her mood wasn't very good. Yunshi walked over, her purple clothes fluttering about, snow-white skin like jade. She was extremely beautiful, hair fluttering about, eyes like gemstones. Celestial Clan truly is daring, sending you out like this and approaching me. Aren't they scared that I'll take action? Shahao said as he looked at this old friend. Yunshi's beautiful oval face carried bitterness, as well as humiliation. She carried the shame of her clan, ultimately pushed out to negotiate. Have you been well? Yunshi spoke up, not trying to persuade Shahao, only giving her greetings like this. Not too bad. Shahao nodded, not saying too much. There weren't any grudges to speak of between him and Yunshi, the events back then had nothing to do with her. Yunshi's mind was a mess. She could feel how estranged she was compared to Shahao. The other party's reply was extremely concise, not saying much. Fire Clan Princess, after being separated for many years, we meet again. Yunshi adjusted her mood, and then looked towards Hualinga at Shahao's side, carefully gazing at her as she spoke. Really, after several years have passed, I never expected we would reunite again. Fairy Yunshi's style is greater than in the past. Hualinga replied, not cold, but not much warmth to speak of either. Part 1 end here.